Okay, guys, so we're going to be dealing with quadratics today. We're going to be factoring and solving equations using quadratics. That's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. We're going to be solving those today and getting equations. Before we can solve those, we need to talk about what's called the zero product property. Guys, listen to me. You're going to be factoring in order to get two things that are multiplied by each other in order to make one of them 0. The whole idea is if you have two things that are multiplied by each other, like A and B, either A has to be 0 or B has to be 0. Not both of them. Just one of the two has to be 0. If just one of the two of them has to be 0, then all you need to do is get a multiplication problem and turn one of them into 0. That means we solve and set everything equal to 0, guys. These are very straightforward. Let me know when we solve these if you have a question about that part of it, which is this like 1 and 2 step equations. Here we go. So starting off with, we have a problem that has already been factored. They have already done all the hard work for you. It is a multiplication problem. In order for it to equal 0, either 2d plus 6 is going to have to equal 0, or 3d minus 15 is going to have to equal 0. One of those two things is going to have to be true. Right? Not both. Just one of them. So you could have either or. You're going to have either one of those answers. So all we need to do is solve those equations. Now listen to me. We're past the point of showing every little step for 1 and 2 step problems. I told you when we got past that, I'd start letting you leave that off. We're done with that. You can do these in steps by showing the work and getting to the answer very quickly. When you solve this problem, it's going to be 2d equals, if I move a positive 6 to the other side, what does it become? Negative 6. Okay? So it's going to be minus 6 or negative 6. Guys, you can show the minus 6 if you need to. I'm just showing you how you can do it without showing them. And then the next step would be to divide both sides by 2, which make it d equals, what is negative 6 divided by 2? Negative 3. Again, if you need to show the divide by 2, you can. It's not going to hurt you. But that's what I did. I'm just doing it without showing those steps. So one of my answer choices is negative 3. If d is negative 3, then this will equal 0. The other answer choice is going to be to solve this one. I'm not going to show the steps on this one, guys. 3d would equal, if we need to move a negative 15 to the other side, it's going to become what? Positive 15. Again, show the step if you need to. Your geometry teacher is not going to show you all these steps. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I start doing this at the end of this class. And then from there, to undo this multiplication, we are going to divide, and we are going to divide both sides by 3. If we divide both sides by 3, what's d equal to? 5. Those are your two answer choices. They are a set of numbers, so they are going to go into our braces. We've done these before. It always goes from least to greatest in the braces, just so we can see least to greatest when we're listing these in this set of braces. The least one on this would be the negative 3 and the 5. Negative 3 and 5. Questions, concerns, anything about that? Wonderful. Let's keep going. We're going to do it again. Guys, do y'all see this is a multiplication problem too? It just looks different. Please listen to me. That is still multiplication. If you have multiplication, you are going to be solving them, setting them equal to 0. This is already multiplication. There aren't parentheses here, but this is multiplication. It is 3x could equal 0, or x plus 2 could equal 0. So for this one, guys, if I divide both sides by 3, what's 0 divided by anything? 0. 0. Guys, 0. For this next one, if I subtract 2 from both sides, what's x going to be equal to? Negative 2. There you go. When I list them out in my braces, because I always need to list them in braces because it's a set of numbers, that's my answer. Even if there's one thing, we're going to be putting them in braces. Which one goes first? Negative 2, then the 0. Good. Always go least to greatest, so the -2 would come first. Very nice. Any questions, concerns, anything before we move on? Are people still writing? Trying to give them a minute? And I'll try to stay with everybody. No? Okay. Next one. Guys, these have to be factored. They have not been factored for you yet. We've got to understand what factoring means because we've done that already. In order to factor, you're going to take out what you can and break it apart into a multiplication problem. In this case, we have what's called a greatest common factor. What will divide into 8 and into 40? Oh, whoa. Huh? Not 5. That's how many times it goes in there. What goes in there, though? 8. Oh, we got to go for the greatest common factor. 4 goes in there, but it is not the greatest common factor. 8 will go into both of them. Will B go into both of them? And what is the lowest power on one of the B's? Just one, B. So we would write 8B out in front. When we simplify this, the 8's will cancel. And what do you do with the exponents when you divide like bases? Subtract them. So it'd be B to the second divided by B to the first, which would leave you B to the first, which is just B. Because 2 minus 1 is 1. So just don't write it there. The next one, 40 divided by 8 would be the 5. That's where that was coming from. And then the B's just cancel out. We're just factoring out a GCF, guys. We did that for several tests before we moved on to the radicals. Once we factor out the GCF, we now have a multiplication problem. If we have a multiplication problem, we can say that this part, the 8B, could equal 0. And we can say this part, the B minus 5, could also equal 0. Guys, if you divide both sides by 8, anytime you do 0 divided by any number, it's going to be what? 0. On this one, if you add 5 to both sides, what's B going to equal? 5. That's it. So your answer will go in braces. Since 0 is less than 5, you would write the 0, comma, and then the 5. I know some of y'all take a long time to draw your braces. I'll give you a second. Some of y'all's braces take a long time. Right. Anybody have any questions or concerns? Okay. Guys, you gotta ask me. I'm telling you, there's a lot in this set of notes. It's a lot of old stuff that we gotta make sure you remember. Okay, let's keep going. We cannot do anything in a problem when we are not equal to 0. The whole idea is to use that zero product property. Because this is not equal to 0, I need to make it equal 0 before I do anything to the problem. To do that, I am going to add 10x to both sides. That's going to make it x squared plus 10x equals, guys, if everything cancels out on the other side, what's it equal to now? 0. There you go, 0. That's the whole point, is to make it equal 0. I can't add those together. I just put them one at the highest power down to the lowest power because they have different exponents. You can't add and subtract when you have different exponents. Okay, once you get it equal to 0, you are going to try to turn it into a multiplication problem. You're going to factor it. There is a GCF here. Yes, there is a GCF. What is the GCF that will divide into both of these things? X. Thank you. X will go into both of them. Nice. Then what would be left over would be whatever you get when you divide by x. X squared divided by x is just going to be x plus x, 10x divided by x. What happens to the x's, guys? They just cancel and it's just going to be 10. Okay. The last step is to tell me what would make each of them equal to 0. So we set the x equal to 0. Guys, do I need to solve that? It's already x equals 0. It's done. That one's easy. The other one is x plus 10 equals 0. And guys, what would happen? What would it be equal to if you move the 10 to the other side? Negative 10. Put your answer in braces. Which one goes first? What's worth less, the 0 or the negative 10? The negative 10 is worth less. The negative 10 has to go before the 0, guys. Least to greatest every single time. Okay. Are we on the back now? Yeah. Get everybody there. So guys, if it's not equal to 0, the very first thing you got to do is make it equal 0. So our next problem looks like this. 5. Is it equal to 0? Yes. So now we have to factor it. We have to turn it into a multiplication problem. This is an easy diamond. Guys, you've done these a lot. You've got to understand it's the same thing you've already done. This is not new. You cannot act like this is some brand new thing. We've done this. Factoring using an easy diamond means that we would set up our diamond. We would put the last number at the top, negative 15. We would put that middle number on the bottom, which is 2. And we're looking for the two numbers that multiply to give me negative 15, but add to give me 2. What are they? 5 and negative 3. Perfect. 5 and negative 3. I am going to factor this problem into 2 binomials. Guys, the whole point is making it multiplication. That's what we need to do, is make it multiplication. And it's going to be x in the front of each one. And at the back of it, I use my numbers for my diamond. So my numbers for my diamond are going to be plus 5 and minus 3. Now listen, I'm going to make your life a little easier. I'm going to leave out another step. I'm not even going to write where I set each one of them equal to 0. I know that they need to equal 0, so I'm going to solve them. What is the opposite of plus 5? Negative 5. I don't even have to do the whole write the equation and do the stuff underneath. I can just go from there. Once you get at multiplication, you can tell me the answers from there if you can see it. If not, you can write more work if you want to, but you don't have to. For this one, what is the opposite of negative 3? Plus 3. Those are my two answers. So my two answers are going to go in braces. They're going to go from least to greatest. So it's going to be negative 5, comma, 3. Don't put a plus sign when it's positive all the time, like in your answers. I'm just putting it there because that's how we get there. Anybody have any questions, concerns, anything before we keep going? Okay, our next one is a diamond as well. We have a problem though. Why can't I do a diamond from what's there? Is what? Doesn't equal 0. Perfect. It doesn't equal 0. Guys, if it doesn't equal 0, the very first thing you got to do is make it equal 0. So we are going to minus 6 minus 6. That's going to make it x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0. Just put them in order. X squared, x number. X squared, x number. Can't combine any of them. They're none of them are like terms. We need to do a diamond. What number is going to be on the top of our diamonds? Negative 6, guys. Come on. Come on. Gotta start thinking. Okay. On the bottom of that diamond is going to be our middle number, so 5 is going to go on the bottom. It might not be the numbers you think. Be careful. What two numbers work?
6 and 1, negative 1.
The other way. Yeah, the negative 1. So it's going to be negative 1 and positive 6. Or 6 and negative 1. Doesn't matter which one comes first, but the 6 has got to be the positive. The reason that is the bottom number is positive. In order to multiply to get a negative 6, but add to get a positive 5, the bigger number had to be positive. Right, it's going to factor into two sets of parentheses, which is multiplication, which is what we're trying to get in the first place. We're trying to make it into a multiplication problem. That's the whole idea behind this. The numbers that go in the multiplication problem are going to be the x at the front of each one, because it's just an x here. This is an easy diamond, not a hard one. We have some hard diamonds coming up. This is an easy one. The numbers that go at the back are going to be -1 and +6. Okay, what's the opposite of -1? 1. And the opposite of +6 is going to be what? -6. Your answers go in braces. The least goes first. -6 would go first, then the +1. Guys, this is all third 9-week stuff. Everything we did in third 9 weeks, the only difference is the setting it equal to 0. We have done everything in this set of notes except for that part. You have got to be able to factor to be able to do this stuff. If you didn't get factoring the first time, now would be a really good time. Actually, this first or second, we've done it twice now. This is our third time on factoring. If you didn't get it other of those times, now would be a great time to be working on this and figuring out how to do this stuff. You can come see me after school. You can get help from Pyarian. Just get the help you need, guys. Okay, next two, 7 and 8. These are going to be, I think you got one easy and then one hard on this. Let's take a look. Let's see. Okay, this one's really out of order. This one's bad because it's out of order, guys. First things first, when we go to do this problem, you've got to move the 52 to the other side because you've got to make it equal to 0. But when you move the 52 over, put it from the highest power down to the lowest power. So the s squared is going to go first. The 17s is going to go second. And the plus 52 is going to go last. Please, 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 please make sure you put it in order because this only works if you do it in order. Diamonds only work if it's in order. Okay, we're going to set up our diamond. Our diamond is going to have 52 on top and 17 on the bottom. This one we may have to think about the numbers that we need to use. Now grab your calculators. I don't know what they are, so we have to go through and do them. Okay, guys, 1 and 52 is obvious. We don't need to use a calculator for that one. Does 2 go into 50? Oh, it does. What is the other number? 26. Still won't add up to 17. What about 3? Will 3 go into 52? No? Okay. What about 4? My guess is yes, but 13 times. And 4 and 13 adds up to 17. There's our numbers. Didn't take us that long. Thought it was going to be longer. So 4 and 13. So again, the whole goal is to make it a set of parentheses, multiplication of some kind, in order to make it equal 0. So at the front of each one of these parentheses, what are you going to write? Other variable, but yes, s. You're good, you're good. It is the right idea, though. It just happened to have a different variable. And then at the back, you're going to put your numbers from your diamond, which are going to be +4 and +13. Okay, guys. So my answers, if you hadn't figured it out, are always the opposite of what's there. So what's the opposite of +4? -4. What's the opposite of +13? -13. Ooh, it's the first time we've had... Sorry, it just made me laugh. This is the first time we've had 2 negatives. Which one goes, sorry, that made me giggle. Which one goes first? -13. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. -13, then the -4. Okay, for this next one, you're going to have a hard diamond. This is going to be a little bit more, guys, a little bit different. You're going to have to be able to deal with this. You're going to get a fraction answer. You're going to get a fraction, not just a whole number. Here we go. First things first, when you set up your diamond, you're going to be trying to solve it into 2 sets of parentheses equal to 0. What do you do to get the number that goes on top of the diamond? It's not -16. You have to multiply that 3 times that -16. Good, I heard it from about 3 of y'all. Multiply that 3 times that -16. Do that on your calculator. What does that give us? -48. Then the middle number is still going to be the bottom, so it's still going to be 2. We're looking for 2 numbers that multiply to give us 48, but add to give us +2. So one of the numbers is going to have to be negative, one of them is going to have to be positive, guys. What two numbers work? 8 and 6. Which one has to be negative? 6. Good. Negative 6 and positive 8. Nicely done. So when we set up this parentheses, guys, what goes at the front of each parentheses? 3x. Not just x, 3x. It's got a coefficient in front, so you got to put that with it. And then at the back of them, it's going to be minus 6 and plus 8. Okay. Guys, do we have any common factors that we can cancel out? Yes. I can take a 3 out of both of these. If you got a GCF that you can cancel out at this point, you need to do it. It's going to make it x minus 2 and 3x plus 8. Okay, now the first one people don't usually have a problem with. If the first one is x minus 2, what's the answer to this going to be? 2. Positive 2, 2, however you want to say it. 2. This one needs some work though, guys. Watch what I'm going to do. Just like we did with the 8, instead of it being positive 8, it's going to be negative 8. But it's got to divide by the number that is in front of the x. So it's going to be negative 8 over 3. And you've solved it. Negative 8 over 3. And you've solved it. Guys, it's going to be whatever this is. It's going to be the opposite of this, divided by the number in front of the variable. So it's going to be negative 8 divided by 3. Now, still going braces, negative 8 thirds, comma, 2. Always your negative before your positive. You're always going least to greatest. What time did we say we get out? 36? Oh, good. We're right there. Okay, guys. We're going to try to get this last one. We've got 2 more, but we're going to try and get this one done. Here we go. Pay attention so we can get it done. Guys, if you need to get it done. Come on. I'm going to just hold you. I'm waiting for everybody to stop putting up their stuff and pay attention. Here we go. Diamond on this is going to be negative 10 on top, 3 on the bottom. What two numbers work? Hold on. What two numbers work? Huh? Guys, what two numbers multiply to give you negative 10 but add to give you 3? 5 and 2. Which one has to be negative? The 2. There you go. So finish this one up at home. I'll give you your worksheet as you walk out.